Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to the New York City Hybrid Hearing on the Committee on Parks and Recreation, jointly with the Committee on Fire and Emergency Management. Please silence all electronic devices at this time, and also please do not approach the dais. If you have any questions, please raise your hand, and one of us, the Sergeant at Arms, will kindly assist you. Cheers, we are ready to begin.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much, Sergeant. I'm Councilmember Shekhar Krishnan, Chair of the New York City Council's Committee on Parks and Recreation, and I want to welcome you all to our hearing today on preventing brush fires in parks and legislation we're hearing as well. I'd like to thank my colleague, Councilmember Joanne Ariola, Chair of the Committee on Fire and Emergency Management, for agreeing to hold this hearing jointly on an extremely important issue for our city. Today's hearing will examine the issue which I'm sad to say needs to be addressed and is becoming only increasingly urgent, and that is on how we can mitigate the threat of brush and wildfires from occurring in our New York City's parks. We've unfortunately seen the incredible devastation brought most recently by wildfires in the Los Angeles area and the increasing prevalence of wildfires overall in more areas of the country, largely due to the effects of the rapidly changing climate. And bear in mind, as we're sadly seeing in LA, it's not just limited to the forests and trees that are being destroyed, but also people's lives upended, displaced overnight from their homes burnt down, truly emergency situations. I'm sure that even though all New Yorkers sympathize with the plight of all who have had to endure the threat and experience of wildfires, as very few of us would have thought that wildfires would be something that we, living in the so-called concrete jungle, would have ever experienced. But now we are faced with having to find solutions to a new and increasingly urgent challenge. Shockingly, the idea that wildfires can occur in our backyard is no longer a foreign concept, but an actual lived experience for many in the city and the extended region. It is still fresh in our memory, but as a brief recap, last fall, the city went through almost 30 days without measurable rainfall, which was the second largest dry streak in city weather records dating back to 1869. Then, on November 2nd, 2024, Mayor Adams issued a citywide drought watch, ordering city agencies to implement water conservation plans. This was elevated to a drought warning on November 18th, as the dry spell continued, just one step below a drought emergency. On January 3rd, 2025, after precipitation levels were 20% above average in the watershed during the end of November and December 2024, Mayor Adams lifted the city's drought watch, as favorable weather conditions contributed to the replenishment of the city's reservoir system. During this, FDNY responded to 271 brush fires throughout the city. This represents the highest amount of brush fires ever dealt with during a 2-week period in the city's history. And we owe a great deal of gratitude to our FDNY service members, to our Parks Department, all who came together under such dire conditions in an emergency way to make sure these fires were addressed. Thank you all very much. Now, some of the larger, more serious fires included 4 brush fires in Van Cortlandt Park, which took over 5 hours to put out due to the lack of water access on November 4th. A 2-acre brush fire located in a heavily wooded area of Prospect Park on November 8th that needed 120 firefighters to contain. 2 brush fires in Highbridge Park on November 12th, and on November 13th, a brush fire at Alley Pond Park in Queens, and a brush fire that damaged nearly 4 acres of brush in Inwood Park, needing 140 firefighters to extinguish it. FDNY needed to use water from the Harlem River due to a lack of fire hydrants in that specific area of the park in order to neutralize the threat. And as you see, all of this is connected. One fire can have so many secondary effects and do far more extensive damage than simply the geographic area where the fire is located. We seem to be entering uncharted territory here, which is why Chair Ariola and I felt we needed to convene this hearing so that we can make sure the entire city is treating this threat as the priority that we both see that it is. We are clearly indebted to all the firefighters and emergency workers who were so successful in using their determination and ingenuity to contain these fires. But we have to get to a point where these threats are addressed before they become harmful to more people or they are beyond safe containment. That's why I have sponsored a pre-considered bill that we are hearing today. This bill would require the Parks Department, in consultation with FDNY and other appropriate city agencies, to develop a specific plan to mitigate the occurrences of wildfires in parks. It would require the city to analyze how we can be even better equipped to prevent these fires and contain them quickly should they even occur. Some of what would be part of this plan would involve analyzing how we can increase response times, increase fire prevention training for city workers, conduct better surveillance over fire-prone areas of parkland, and improve enforcement against activities in parks that contribute to fires occurring in the first place. The plan would have to be posted on the park's website according to our legislation and be updated regularly. It is my hope that this bill will help to get the city ahead of the game in addressing what is a growing threat to the well-being of New Yorkers, to our climate, and to ensure that this threat is something we can contain before it's too late. On a slightly different note, we will also be considering and hearing another bill today, Intro number 800, sponsored by my colleague, Councilmember Natasha Williams. This bill would require the Parks Department to develop criteria by which they prioritize tree maintenance by considering the likelihood of potential harm to persons or property, whether a tree or limb that has already fallen is still capable of causing harm, and the proximity of a damaged tree or limb to nearby buildings. As we all know, and I speak, I think, for our entire city council, we are very concerned about tree maintenance and care in our city, and we need to make sure that it's addressed in a timely way and in a safe way. I know the Parks Department feels the same way too, and I think this legislation will help to get us there and to make sure that we can address tree safety and tree maintenance in a comprehensive way. Parks, pursuant to this legislation, would also be required to post this criteria on its website. I look forward to examining this further today, and I applaud my colleague for introducing this and being tuned into how important the health of our trees are to the life of our city and to our communities. I look forward to engaging with everyone at this hearing today. Before turning it over to my co-chair, I just wanted to note all the council members who have joined today. We are joined, in addition to, of course, Chair Ariola and myself, Councilmember Palladino, Councilmember Williams, Councilmember Menon, Councilmember Ung, Councilmember Carr, Councilmember Feliz, Councilmember Holden, and by Zoom, Councilmember Gennaro. And now I'd like to turn it over to my co-chair, Councilmember Ariola, for an opening statement, followed by Councilmember Williams, who will make a statement on Intro 800. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Krishnan. I am proud to co-chair this hearing with you today. As stated, my name is Joanne Ariola. I'm the council member and chairperson of the Committee on Fire and Emergency Management. As we saw during recent tragedies that unfolded in California, fast-spreading brush fires present unique challenges to firefighters and other emergency responders. We witness the extreme damage to life and property that can occur, and thanks to our brave first responders who valiantly overcame harsh conditions to contain the fires covering large swaths of area in Los Angeles, they were under control. Here in New York City, brush fires occurring this fall in city parks demonstrated that even here, in a largely dense urban environment, the risk of brush fires are real and must be taken seriously during periods of extreme drought. I'm eager to explore how the city can best prepare for preventing and fighting brush fires that can occur in our city parks and other wooded areas throughout the city. Specifically, I'm interested in hearing more about the FDNY's operations to combat brush fires that have occurred recently in our city parks and examine the preventative measures we can take during periods of drought to mitigate fire risks. We look forward to hearing the testimony from the administration. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much, Chair Ariola, and I appreciate this joint hearing together on this important issue. Before going further into it, I'd also like to recognize that we've been joined by Councilmember Zhuang. And now I'm going to turn it over to Councilmember Williams for her statement on her bill that we're hearing today.
Thank you. I don't have a formal statement. I just want to thank the chair for hearing the bill. When I first got elected, people would ask, like, what is the top issue in the district? And I would say trees. And people would laugh because they're like, why are trees a problem? And trees are a problem because we have a lot of old trees, trees that are not properly maintained. The calendar of maintaining trees, the process of that is like significantly also like delayed. And I understand we have millions of trees in New York City, but for individuals who live in residential communities, the trees become a quality of life issue, and the turnaround time for the Parks Department to address the tree related issue is extensively long. And while I understand, I already perused the testimony, while I understand that the Parks Department, I suppose, does this work internally as agency policy, it is my view that this should be public information. It should be transparent. People should understand how you prioritize tree maintenance, because most folks do not know. It's like a black hole. I have a lot of other opinions about how we maintain trees and how we rate trees, because the tree pretty much has to be about to kill someone for the Parks Department to come out and do something, which again is just truly a problem for me. So I just want to thank everyone who sponsored the bill. It is a bipartisan bill. I have like over 30 plus sponsors, so this is a wide range issue across New York City, and I just look forward to it passing. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Williams, and appreciate you calling attention to this important issue that we all care very much about. Now we'll turn it over to the administration to testify. Just wanted to let everyone know who's here today from the administration. We have the chief of our fire department, Chief John Esposito, who is here. We have the chief of fire operations, Chief Kevin Woods. We have the assistant commissioner of natural resources and planning, Mart Larson, from New York City Parks Department. We have chief of legislative affairs for New York City Parks, Matt Drury. We have the director of emergency management for the Parks Department, Norman Chan. And we have the Assistant Commissioner of Forestry and Horticulture from Parks Department, Benjamin Osborne, and also the Chief of Parks Department's Natural Resources, Christy King. And now I will turn it over to our committee counsel to swear in the witnesses prior to their testimony.
Thank you, Chair. Please raise your right hand if you're able. Do you affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in your testimony before these committees, and to respond honestly to council member questions? Thank you.
And before we begin, just want to note that we've also been joined by Councilmember De La Rosa as well. And we'll turn it over to you all to negotiate Parks or FDNY. Who goes first?
Turn that on. Good afternoon, Chair Ariola, Chair Krishnan, and members of the Fire and Emergency Management Committee and the Committee on Parks and Recreation. My name is John Esposito, and I am the Chief of Department for the New York City Fire Department. I am joined today by Kevin Woods, our Chief of Fire Operations. I am grateful for the opportunity to speak with you today about the important topic of preventing brush fires in New York City parks. Recent events have highlighted the dangerous and destructive nature of brush fires. In Los Angeles, at least 28 people died as multiple fires swept across more than 45 square miles of that city and county. I spent a portion of last week traveling to California to see firsthand how firefighters on the West Coast are responding to these fires. It is a tragic situation, but we're making sure that the FDNY learns the lessons from their experience. We learned about best practices, about equipment, and about the ways that wildfires behave. In New York, we experienced an historic surge in brush fires last fall. To give you a sense of the increase, in October and November of 2023, the city experienced roughly 120 brush fires. In October and November of 2024, that number jumped to more than 500. More than half of those came during a single 2-week period. The scale of the brush fires increased as well. Whereas most brush fires in previous years were small and relatively easy to contain, some of the fires in 2024 grew quite large very quickly. We were fortunate to avoid any loss of life or any residential or commercial property damage, but these fires destroyed parkland and endangered the firefighters who responded to them. We cannot afford to underestimate the threat of brush fires and the possibility they could become more dangerous for people and property in the future. The bulk of the brush fires last fall took place during a severe extended drought. A significant lack of rainfall created conditions in which dry vegetation ignited easier than usual, and persistent winds rendered the fires challenging to suppress. Many of the fires took place in isolated locations, requiring firefighters to transport hoses and equipment long distances into remote areas. They were often operating in treacherous terrain, dealing with hills and dense forest. Access to water was sometimes an issue, given a lack of fire hydrants in some areas. Despite these complications, I am proud to report the members of the FDNY rose to the occasion. We used the full complement of FDNY tools to respond. During the Inwood Hill Park fire, we used our marine units, those are our fire boats, to draft water from the river. We also used technology in innovative ways. We relied on our drones, part of our robotics unit, to create situational awareness. Drone technology allows for real-time information for incident commanders who would otherwise be unable to see and understand the span of the fire. It also allows the FDNY to identify hotspots, which was integral to understanding and preventing spread. The task force also uses drones preventively to identify risk when inspecting fire sites and potential fire risk locations. In response to last fall's surge in brush fires, we created the department's first ever brush fire task force. In announcing the task force, Commissioner Tucker emphasized the department's commitment to protecting New Yorkers and keeping our members safe as they combat these fires. This will include enhancing training that focuses specifically on brush fires, exploring the acquisition of new and additional apparatus that is geared toward brush fires, and testing more specialized tools and equipment for members. One of the lessons that we've learned is the importance of wildland firefighter personal protective equipment, or PPE. Some of the gear used in structural firefighting is heavy and cumbersome, whereas wildland firefighting equipment is lighter and more flexible. We've also expanded our coordination with our fellow city agencies. In addition to our ongoing work with the Parks Department, we've been working with the New York City Police Department about expanding our options for fighting brush fires. The fire department does not have a helicopter, but we've been training with the police on ways to use their helicopter in conjunction with fire operations. We've been fighting brush fires for a long time, but the nature and extent of the fires last fall indicates a new level of threat. The fire department, working with our colleagues in government and with the support of the City Council, is up to the challenge. We will continue learning and evolving on this issue so that we can provide the best possible protection for the people of New York. I thank the Council for your partnership and your attention to this critical issue. At this time, I will turn it over to my colleagues from the Parks Department.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Krishnan, Chair Ariola, members of the Parks Committee and Fire and Emergency Management Committee, and other members of City Council. I'm Marit Larson, Assistant Commissioner of Natural Resources and Planning for New York City Parks, and I'm pleased to be joined today by members of our senior staff, including Ben Osborne, Assistant Commissioner of Forestry and Horticulture, Christy King, Chief of Natural Resources, Norman Chan, Director of Emergency Management, and Matt Drury, our Chief of Citywide Legislative Affairs. To echo the sentiments just expressed by Chief Esposito in his testimony, protecting New Yorkers along with our vital natural areas and green spaces is of the utmost importance to New York City parks. Brush fires in our parks and natural areas can be dangerous and damaging, and we work closely with FDNY to ensure that fires in city parks are extinguished as quickly as possible. Of course, FDNY is primarily responsible for all fire response in the city, including parks, and we're grateful for the bravery and responsiveness of our city firefighters and for FDNY's incredible partnership. Upon observing a fire in a park or natural area, New York City Parks staff are trained to immediately contact FDNY to ensure the fire can be dealt with as quickly as possible, and then to also contact Parks Central Communications, who send broadcast notifications to key parks managers and staff so we can monitor and coordinate additional assistance as needed. As FDNY firefighters work to extinguish flames during fire incidents, our dedicated staffers are available to provide operational support in a variety of ways, including assisting with crowd control if necessary, and the removal of standing or fallen trees to facilitate FDNY's access to impacted areas if necessary. By definition, all natural vegetated areas can be susceptible to fires, and brush fires have occurred in parks to various degrees over the years. But thankfully, widespread large-scale brush fires have not been especially common in recent decades. However, in late 2024, New York City experienced a historic drought, which was contributed to a significant increase in brush fires in the city, particularly in natural areas. We coordinated closely with FDNY to ensure public safety in near affected areas and worked diligently to inspect and remove known tree hazards along paths, trails, and heavily trafficked areas after fires were extinguished. Our natural resources crews quantified and mapped the fire extent, which totaled over 41 acres out of 6,800 acres of parks forested natural areas citywide. The largest fires occurred in 10 different parks in 4 boroughs, on 13 different dates from mid-October to mid-November. This was the most significant set of brush fires impacting forested parklands dating back decades. Following the recent brush fires, we've begun a dedicated internal effort to detail lessons learned, to refine and improve our fire response protocols and communication guidelines. And we're participating in the Brush Fire Task Force recently created by FDNY. We are also pleased to report that to assist with recovery efforts following the dissipation of the fires, the New York City Green Fund has generously allocated funding for direct, non-competitive grants available to partner organizations to care for natural areas which were impacted by the fires. In consultation with Parks and the Natural Areas Conservancy, the New York City Green Fund is reviewing applications for the grants, which will fund forest recovery activities in those parks, including seeding native ground cover and replanting trees and shrubs. We're very grateful for New York City Green Fund's incredible support and look forward to being able to share more details about these grants in the future. Regarding our proactive efforts, we strive to manage and maintain the 14,000 acres of our natural areas around the city in a manner that helps minimize occurrences of brush fires. Our agency's Forest Management Framework, a 25-year plan jointly developed by New York City Parks Natural Resources Group and our partners at the Natural Area Conservancy, guides the management and restoration of our city forests, including brush fire prevention measures. Strategies described within this framework include removal of overabundant and fast-growing species, such as Phragmites and mugwort, which cause fires to spread faster and burn longer, as well as planting appropriate trees and shrubs to increase species diversity and improve the overall ecosystem health. We also work to restore degraded habitats to native plant communities that are less prone to fire, such as coastal forests and emergent wetlands where appropriate. We appreciate the Council's strong support for these efforts over the years and look forward to continuing that partnership. As one might imagine, it's exceedingly difficult to identify precise cause for any given brush fire in a natural area, but human activities are typically the cause. We'd like to remind all New Yorkers of the importance of following parks rules and acting responsibly while enjoying our parks, because discarded cigarettes, campfires, flammable debris, and fireworks can ignite brush fires that can cause tremendous damage. Park visitors should report any sign of smoke and fire immediately to 911, and they can subscribe to Notify NYC for important fire-related safety updates. Of course, our division does everything in its power to educate park visitors about our rules and address dangerous behavior, and our park enforcement patrol officers, urban park rangers, and other staff caring for our parks all play a vital role in keeping our parks safe from brush fires, but we cannot do it alone. Turning to the legislation being heard today, pre-considered 3015 would require New York City Parks, in consultation with other appropriate city agencies, to develop a plan to mitigate the occurrences of wildfires in parks and report annually on wildfires that occur in parks under its jurisdiction. We appreciate the intent of this legislation and look forward to working with Council and FDNY to further discuss the most effective ways to achieve our shared goals of minimizing brush fire damage to our natural areas, be it through legislation or similarly themed efforts underway. Introduction 800 would codify the criteria by which New York City prioritizes tree maintenance work and post a description of the criteria used to prioritize tree maintenance on its website. As the steward of New York City's urban forest, we care for our city's street and park trees and respond to more than 100,000 forestry-related service requests from concerned New Yorkers each year. To help keep our tree canopy healthy and safe and ensure that the highest priority tree work is addressed as quickly as possible, we've integrated modern tree risk management practices into the way we care for our urban forest. Since 2017, we formally incorporated industry standards for tree risk management established by the International Society of Arboriculture and the American National Standards Institute into our tree work management approach. By applying professional expertise in risk management, we're able to address the conditions that present the highest risk to public safety and property before other work. As part of our dedicated commitment to public transparency, this prioritized approach to tree maintenance is clearly outlined on our agency website, as well as through communication with constituents and other stakeholders regarding tree work service requests. Though we already conduct our operations in a manner corresponding to the spirit of this legislation, it's important to note we generally advise against codifying operational practices via local law because agencies require flexibility to innovate and adopt new industry standards and best practices as they evolve over time. As such, we're opposed to the bill as it's currently drafted, but would welcome the chance to work with Council to identify how we can best achieve our shared goals of preserving the city's tree canopy while protecting New Yorkers and their property. We'd like to thank the Council for this opportunity to testify and for your support for our city's parks and open spaces. If there are any questions, we're happy to join our partners at FDNY in answering those at this time.
Thank you so much, both to FDNY and Parks for your testimony. I'm going to ask some questions, and then I'll turn it over to my co-chair to ask questions as well, and then we'll open it up to council members to ask their questions too. So my first question, and I appreciate the testimony from both of the agencies about the responsiveness to the fires. I think you all moved very quickly, given the unexpected nature of them, to try to address it and contain it, and we're very grateful for your work. My first question, just in a very simplified way, is while there have been forest fires before, obviously last fall was a very challenging time because of the drought and the extent of the fires. I know FDNY too in the past has addressed the issues of forest fires too, but what would you say are some of the lessons learned from both agencies and in both in terms of things that came up while battling those forest fires, and then things that we can do going forward as a city? The circumstances were unique in that sense, but sadly, I don't think they're going to be unique going forward. So as we deal with the hotter climate, possibly and likely more droughts in the future, less rainfall, what would you all say were the lessons that each of you drew as agencies from the experience this past fall? Let's start with FDNY first.
Thank you for that question. So one of the things we realized is the brush fire apparatus that we have. So we currently have 10 or 12 situated in the city. mostly in the areas that historically have had the most brush fires: South Queens, South Brooklyn, and Staten Island. We realize that we don't have many of them situated up where we had some of our fires this year, up in Van Cortlandt Park and Inwood Park. And there's different types of brush fire apparatus that we could use as well. So we're in the process of looking into smaller, more agile apparatus that can get in down those pathways in the city parks that would allow us to get water and stretch hose lines quicker. Additionally, many of our engine companies carry forestry hose, which is smaller in diameter than the regular hose we use for building fires, and we would look to expand that to all of our engine companies. So that's more appropriate for this type of fire.
Yes, thank you for the question. I think one of the things that we learned was just the importance of continuing good communications with FDNY and with our internally within our agency, making sure that everyone knows their roles and responsibilities. We prioritize the safety of New Yorkers and maintaining and protecting the condition of our natural areas, and are very appreciative of FDNY's important role in responding to fires, including in parks, and we're very grateful for their response. We are training and have trained our staff to immediately contact, call 911, as well as contacting our central communications office, as I mentioned, getting the information out to park managers and staff, and making sure that we monitor and assist as needed in the response. So I think those are the areas that we're going to continue to stress.
That was my next question, actually, was about the training. So how often are you all having trainings with Parks Department staff? And while FDNY also looks at new equipment to help with the narrower paths within the forests to address the fires, does Parks Department have any equipment itself for fighting fires? And how have you all thought about that, in light of what happened this fall?
No, Parks is not responsible for responding to the fires itself. We really defer to the expertise of FDNY in that, and that won't change. We continue to train focused on responding with communications and assistance. And
just to my prior question, so how often are the trainings happening with Parks Department staff, and what are they covering? Rapid response type situations when the fires happen unexpectedly but spread quickly? How are the trainings being structured, and how often are they happening?
Well, training around general protocol and communication happens with all new staff and happens with all seasonal staff. So we have that happens relatively frequently for workers that are in the field. With respect to any particular emergency response, I'll defer to my colleague, Norman Chan, on that, if he'd like to add anything with respect to trainings.
Good afternoon, everyone. Council chairs, thank you for giving us the opportunity to testify here today to answer your questions. Regarding the question about training for staff, in general, when staff are onboarded and when staff are working in the district, both full-time staff and seasonal staff, they are giving briefings in terms of how to respond to certain acute type situations, a medical emergency in the park, a crime happening within the park, a fire within the park. And in many of these cases, the staff are directed to call 911 to reach out to our emergency responders at our partner agencies to handle these type of situations. Like, we are definitely not the subject matter experts on fighting fires or responding to medical emergencies. So in many cases, it's just really the communication and getting the word out there that something's taking place within our parks to get the proper help and resources there as quickly as possible. That is what we stress when we train our staff and bring them out into the field. In terms of the frequency of trainings, it depends on how recently the staff are on board and so on. There's no specific timetable as how often we stress this, but seasonally, we deal with many different things, emergencies within parks. Like right now during the winter season, we're currently facing issues regarding ice safety. So we currently reiterate to staff, during cold temperatures, people may be apt to wander under the ice. So right now, the current reminder to all staff out in the field is to survey our lakes and ponds, ensure that the public stays off of it, and so on. So it's all very seasonally based as well. Once again, stressing that communication is key and that we need to reach out to partner agencies as soon as possible if you discover something out there. So number one, call 911, and number two, reach out to our Central Communications Division to ensure that everyone else knows what's going on out there so that we can respond accordingly.
Thank you. And I hope also, in addition to training new staff, to your point about seasonal trainings too, that of course in this, I mean, you already may be thinking about this as well, but in the leading up to this summer and the fall, increasing the frequency of the trainings around this issue in particular, both for new and experienced staff, could I think be very important as well, and something I'd recommend. Now, do Parks Department and horticultural staff and park rangers actively maintain the areas, especially natural areas, that may be prone to brush fires?
Yes, thank you for the question. In particular, the New York City Parks Natural Resources Group is responsible for management across our 14,000 acres of natural area. And we do that with an eye to fire prevention when and where possible in locations where there might be vegetation prone to fire. As I mentioned in our testimony, areas that have large extents of Phragmites or mugwort or fast-growing, spreading grasses that can contribute to those risks are areas where we try to develop projects where we can conduct removal of that kind of vegetation and, where possible, restore native ecosystems that are less prone to fire and also have other ecological benefits.
Are you seeing if there are areas in particular that are more vulnerable than others to these kinds of fires? And then how are you all changing your plan now to protect those vulnerable areas?
Well, generally, going back to our participation with other agencies, including, of course, FDNY, in Staten Island, fires in past decades have been of particular concern. So that has been on our radar for a long time. For example, we have a community wildfire protection plan in Staten Island, and resources actually through that plan devoted towards reducing fuel load in those areas. So we really focus on looking at the concerns and balancing both a concern about potentially fire risk, but also overall maintaining the health of our natural areas. And as I also mentioned in the testimony, we have a forest management framework that helps determine where we are prioritizing our work and taking in a lot of different considerations.
And just my final two questions. One was, one thing that I'd mentioned before in the opening statement, I think it was in Inwood, where there was a lack of access to fire hydrants to help with the situation. And I asked for FDNY too, how have you all thought about, are there certain areas that you clearly need more fire hydrants placed? How do you address this issue of these will happen unexpectedly? But then, of course, the complication of not having fire hydrant access could exacerbate the issue. How have you all thought about that?
So, ideally, the closer the water source is to the fire, the easier it is. But our people are very well trained in relaying water. In Inwood Park, we were able to draft from the river and use water on the fire. It's not uncommon that the closest source of water is we're not able to use. Earlier this week in Queens, we had a fire where the two closest hydrants were frozen, and we were able to quickly access another hydrant and put water on that fire. So obviously the closer the hydrant is to the fire, the better that is, but our people are very well trained to get water however we can get it. We draft water, we can relay water, and then pump it a long way if we need to.
And for the Parks Department, my final question is just, obviously now with what's happened, you've all I'm sure done in the past too, but tracking the frequency of the fires, where they're occurring, the vulnerability of the areas, is important, as is getting a sense also of, what weather conditions become problematic enough to increase surveillance in certain areas. And so I'm wondering, from a preventative standpoint, how has tracking this data helped you? Are you increasing your tracking of it? And also, is there some sort of threshold at some point where, with the weather the way it is, that would cause you all to preventatively increase the amount of surveillance of a certain vulnerable area for a fire?
Thank you for the question. First, regarding tracking wildfires or brush fires, we don't do that in great detail, but we do it every year when we get the information about a fire. So that's just a sort of a standard practice. We go out and map the extent of the area and determine whether there are any actions that we need to take thereafter, and that will continue. And we've done that to various degrees for decades. There can be some years where it's obviously more of a concern than others, like last year. With respect to changing our response or programs and when there's change in weather conditions, we are always alert seasonally to all sorts of changes in weather conditions. We have people in the field, and whether it's extreme heat or cold, we respond accordingly, and our work across our divisions to make sure that we have eyes on the ground and communicate across our divisions. So whether it's PEP officers or rangers, we make use or staff that are located in various parks, we make sure that we are sharing information and maximizing the staff that we do have to keep eyes on the ground, especially when there are periods of high temperature, low precipitation, and high winds.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And I do think, just like with the trainings, increasing the amount of tracking you all are doing, that data will be important. It's my and that's exactly why we've introduced this legislation to find ways where you all should track this more carefully, increase the amount of interagency coordination on it. But I think these situations are out of our control to some up to a large degree, but there are certain preventative tools that we can use to more carefully surveil the areas and be attuned to which areas in particular are vulnerable. I'm going to turn over to my co-chair now for her questions.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'll start with the fire department. In your testimony, you said that there's been a surge in brush fires. And in October, November of 2024, the number jumped to more than 500. Could you just give us locations, approximate locations of where they were, those fires?
I don't have the exact locations. We can
Were
get
they
that.
all in parks?
Not all of them were in parks.
Okay.
They were pretty evenly spread out, distributed throughout the city.
And do you have any idea how many were in parks?
I don't have that
Not at all.
information.
Okay.
We can get
And
that for you, though.
my next question, and I appreciate that, and you always do get the information to us, and I want to thank you for that. Also, when talking about the newly created brush fire task force, which I think is a tremendous idea since we're having all these issues, what is that going to mean budget-wise? Like, just an example, if you have, as to what type of money you'd need from us as a body during the budget process to really fund and get you that smaller equipment that you spoke about, and actually have more of these locations where the brush fire response teams can be located in other parts of the city.
Thank you for that question. So there are three phases to this task force. There's pre-fire, post-fire, and then ongoing operations. So pre-fire is more of an education and a surveillance. We education through our fire safety education unit and social media. And post-fire, of course, is cause and investigation. The ongoing operations is what we're talking about here, are fire operations for brush fires. So we need more brush fire units throughout the city. 5 of them are on Staten Island. The other 3 or 4 are scattered throughout the city. We had to activate multiple reserve pumpers to handle the amount of brush fires that we had. And as Chief Esposito already mentioned, we not everybody has this 1-inch forestry hose. We're using structural firefighting hose to extinguish brush fires. Now, if we have to stretch that hose from a distance, it's very labor intensive. We're pulling not only brush fire, we have second alarm, third alarm brush fire brush fires. We are pulling multiple engine and ladder companies from throughout the city to fight this fire, and it's taking longer, and it's affecting coverage in other areas of the city with this apparatus. So absolutely, council member, we need additional brush fire units, or at least look at the technology that's out there, and also the brush fire hose and lightweight equipment. Our members are fighting fires in bunker gear, so we need lighter equipment as well. So yes, any funding, we'd appreciate it.
And just to jump in with the question too, thanks, Chair Ariola, is similarly for the Parks Department, what do you all need from a budgetary standpoint to help you? And one thing I want to call particular attention to is that City Hall in our last budget cut the funding to the forestry division and natural areas in particular. And I'd like to know what impact that reduced funding had on the ability of the Parks Department and the natural areas unit in particular to address this situation of forest fires, and then what do you all need budgetarily going forward to help you from a resource standpoint to address these fires?
Thank you for the question. We are used to, at the Parks Department and in the Natural Resources group as well, adjusting our work to the finite resources of a given year. We're used to fluctuations. So we look at our long-term planning and our forest management framework and our other natural resource planning frameworks and strategies to really allocate our staff to the projects that we have, given the resources we have. We always appreciate more resources to cover our 14,000 acres of natural areas. In this particular case, last fall, for example, we don't really see that there was a particular resource shortage or change in staffing that would have made a difference in responding. Again, we don't respond to fires ourselves, but in terms of having managed those areas or been able to prevent those particular occurrences. It's always very hard to predict what is the instigation of a fire, and we end up focusing on, again, those areas where we know that we can reduce fuel load and focus on those projects and management areas where we can anticipate both having a benefit potentially of reducing fire risk, but also having that co-benefit of contributing to our overall ecosystem health.
Fire department, how does the fire department evaluate potential risk for brush fires occurring in the city? Are they established standards for weather or environment or conditions that warrant specific measures to prevent the occurrence of brush fires?
So that was one of the tasks of our brush fire task force, was with our drone technology to be able to look at certain areas during the drought, while it was very dry, to see the likelihood of a brush fire and what the impact that would have. But it was our people going out there and taking a look in conjunction with the Parks Department just to determine the likelihood and the impact of a fire.
I see, good, okay. And what would you say is the more common causes of these fires? Are they illegal or otherwise? What starts most of these fire occurrences in parks?
So we did have our Bureau of Fire Investigation come out and look at each of these and try to determine the cause. It is very difficult to determine the cause of a brush fire. We can generally hone in on the area where it started, but the exact cause is difficult to determine. There's generally not witnesses or cameras or other people in the area. It could be anything from careless smoking to sparks from, if there's a train nearby, a train line, sparks from overhead wires. There are an awful lot of potential causes, especially when it's dry in the very dry drought that we had.
Right, thank you. This past fall, in response to existing brush fires, FDNY prohibited the use of fireworks and open flames citywide. Can you discuss this decision further, and what conditions trigger such prohibitions, and how frequently does the FDNY issue such prohibitions?
So, as we had said earlier, we had almost 30 days with very little rainfall. It was very dry. We were experienced a significant number of brush fires. The prohibition on barbecuing and fireworks, I believe, was beneficial. I don't know that we've done that it's been years at least if we have done that before. But knowing that all that parkland was so dry, we had those wind conditions.
Right.
I believe that it was beneficial, even though we like our fireworks shows and things like that. That it had a benefit, and hopefully prevented some other fires.
And given what happened, do you think that there is a reason for increased enforcement efforts against such activities from the Department of Parks and Recreation, FDNY, or the police department?
So the fire department did proactively go out into parks to remind people of the barbecuing and open flame ban. We did put it out on the social media. Our fire safety education was out talking about it. We did events in all 5 boroughs. I believe that there was great benefit to that, and that's something we should continue to get that word out. Similar to the lithium-ion battery public safety education that we've done, we've seen pretty good results with that and the education that we've done,
Right.
getting that message out.
And the Parks Department mentioned Phragmites, and many people may not know about what Phragmites are, but in natural preserves like Gateway Preserve and Spring Creek Preserve, which is very large and goes through Brooklyn and Queens, there are tons of Phragmites, and they oftentimes go on fire because we have people who are going up and fishing there, and it is illegal to fish up there, and enforcement is difficult. And I want to thank you for your assistance to the National Park Service when those fires do happen. The fire department responds right away, and the fire is put out expeditiously. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Just a couple of questions for the Parks Department. First, I want to say that you're very lucky. Both of your departments have amazing commissioners and first deputy commissioners, and they really do work well. And your borough commissioners, like everybody wants to do the right thing, and I appreciate that. So years ago, there was a lot of signage in parks, and I'll go back to Smokey the Bear, right? You too, see? Only you can prevent a forest fire. Is there any such type of outreach or some type of advertisement or something catchy that or signage that we can put in our parks that people 30 years later remember what Smokey the Bear said?
Thanks, Councilmember. We appreciate the question. And I think we've engaged in a variety of different public education sort of efforts, whether it's through social media, now these days. Nothing quite as iconic recently as Smokey, for example. But I know, for example, our urban park rangers are chiefly responsible for providing really fantastic nature-themed education for school kids and adults throughout the city, and especially in so, for example, during the drought warning period, we were incorporating fire prevention and common sense practices sort of into that education. So we'd love to partner on more creative, sort of colorful ideas on how to continue this idea. In terms of the prohibitions on smoking and a lot of these other things, that's incorporated, generally speaking, into our sort of standard rule signage. We found over the years you can kind of sign certain spaces, and people it turns into sign blindness a little bit, so we're a little cautious about that. We want to make sure it's succinct and thoughtful, and people can know what the rules are in any given space. But you make a good point that there have been colorful reminders over the years that still people still remember to this day, and we'd be happy to kind of work with you to kind of think of some creative angles on that.
That's great. I'm just going to yield to Councilmember Palladino because she does have another hearing. She has a question.
This is for parks. We know what caused the fires in California. My sister lives in California. I've been to California many times. As far as parks go, you are failing miserably in cleaning up the parks. I know you're short-staffed. How many people work in your forestry division? I have parks in my district, beautiful parks. Thank the good Lord, nothing there has gone wrong. However, when you do not clean out the underbrush and you do not clean out leaves and these places are not maintained as they should be. For example, Alley Pond Park is huge, okay? Cunningham Park, it's not my park, but I know the parks. Casina Park. These are huge parks that need attention, that are being neglected. Now, what Parks needs to do, if we want to help prevent fires, we not only need to give our firefighters the equipment, high-tech equipment, because in California, if there's a fire and there was a short little brush fire, 2 helicopters, bam, 2 guys came down, the fire was put out immediately. You guys need what you need as far as a helicopter to circumvent the area without leaning on the cops to do that. You need your own. But parks, you need to do your job. How many people work in forestry?
Thank you for the question. Right now, we have this year about 60 in our natural resources group. That's just on the natural areas side of things. My colleague from forestry is also here, of course. And of those, we cover all of our natural areas, of course, and stewardship. About half are in some way involved in forest care.
Preventative always works. This did not have to happen in California. California also has a law where you can't flip a cigarette out a window because they're drought conditions. They're dry constantly. With an ocean right there, we won't get into that. And reservoirs that could have been filled that were not. Hydrants that were empty. We don't have that problem. What we need to do is make sure that some way, somehow, Parks is able to hire a significant amount of people, which you're not. You're short-staffed. And I meet with Parks. Like I said, I love your commissioner, but you guys are just like you're between a rock and a hard place because you're not able to do the jobs that you know you need to do. So there's different ways. Yeah, we need to figure that out because once we are able to prevent. It's not so much about signage. People ignore signs. People could care less about signs, especially today. All right. So the carelessness. People coming barbecuing in parks where they know they're not allowed to barbecue. And if you don't have a parkie in the park to tell them to put out the barbecue, guess what? They don't care anymore either. So there's a mountain of things to help prevent this from happening. And I think getting you the staff that you need, it all sounds wonderful, doesn't it? Like it could happen in a blink of an eye. Funny thing is, it can if the money was spent in the right places. Thank you very much, everybody. I got to get to my small business hearing. Have a great day.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Palladino brings up a very good point. And I have just a couple of more questions, and then I will yield to my colleagues. So you said there's 14 acres of parks. 14,000, I'm sorry, I didn't see the K. 14,000 acres. And how many employees? Was that the 60 that you're talking about?
Yeah, Parks Department has 30,000 acres of parkland, and 14,000 of those we characterize as natural areas. Within our natural areas group, we have, usually it fluctuates, of course, around 60.
And what's the total of employees?
In the Parks Department.
No, that address parks and natural resources.
Yeah, within our natural resources
So
group,
it would
it's
be
about
60.
60.
60
Yeah.
is the number.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's certainly not enough, especially with the issues we have now. So I will be working with Chair Shaker Krishnan and the rest of the committee members to make sure that we address these during our budget rounds. The other thing is why, when we call over to parks for forestry, Why is it that forestry does not answer to the borough commissioners?
Sorry. No, it's an interesting question. So in terms of the org chart of the agency, so the borough commissioners are extremely important and work very, very closely. But in terms of the org chart, I believe, yes, the forestry directors would report to Assistant Commissioner Osborne, who then reports in turn to our Deputy Commissioner, Jennifer Greenfeld, for environment and planning. So it's, but having said that, there are very, very close relationships with the borough commissioners who know sort of the conditions sort of out there in the neighborhoods and with key stakeholders such as elected officials, and they are a core part of the conversations that happen in terms of how to prioritize our efforts and how to communicate about those efforts. But in terms of the reporting structure, you're correct that the forestry staff is sort of that vertical, if you will, is through the environment and planning division.
And that's why I think Inter 800 is so very important. And I'm proud to be a co-sponsor. Thank you. Okay, I will now yield to Councilmember Williams, then De La Rosa, and Holden. Thank you for your answers.
Thanks, Chair. So based on your expertise, how does delayed tree maintenance impact urban infrastructure and public safety? What are the potential risks of not addressing tree-related issues, such as leaning trees, overgrown branches, or root damage in a timely manner?
Thanks for the question, Council Member. I'll call upon our Assistant Commissioner, Ben Osborne, to provide a little more context here.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the question, Councilmember Williams. When we look at concerns about trees, we do respond to, we receive over 100,000 service requests a year for tree-related issues, so it's a tremendous number. We look at a variety of factors with an eye to public safety whenever we perform a tree inspection. So we look at the likelihood of a tree or tree part failing and causing harm to people or property. And, as you know, we have a rating system that helps us prioritize the work that may result from those inspections. That's integral to our process, and it's integral in determining how we prioritize the work that we do.
Okay, can you explain how a prioritization system might help mitigate the risks that you just mentioned?
Yeah, our prioritization system is designed specifically to help mitigate those risks, and that's exactly why we developed that system. We are very innovative in developing the system that we have now, this tree risk management approach. I think we're the first municipality to adopt an approach like that, and one of the largest still to have an approach like that. So this approach to tree risk management is designed to identify the conditions that present the highest risk and get to those conditions that present the highest risk first, because there's always going to be more work that we could do than we have resources for. So this system allows us to get to the worst conditions first with the resources we have.
Okay, so Queens makes up about 36% of the city's street trees, the highest of any borough, as noted on the New York City tree map. What measures can be taken to ensure Queens' extensive tree coverage is properly maintained so constituents are not continually burdened by issues stemming from inadequate tree maintenance?
Sure, yeah, Queens is our largest borough, and it does make up the largest portion of the work that we do, as well as the service requests that we receive. Chair Ariola alluded to our org structure, and in fact, we did undergo a reorganization last year, consolidating the 5 borough forestry units in the Environment and Planning Division. And one of the reasons for doing so was to provide more nimble reallocation of resources across the city depending on where the needs are at any given time. So if we have a storm that impacts one borough specifically, and that does tend to be Queens fairly often, we're able to shift resources to respond quickly to that storm. We're also able to do that throughout our routine operations, is adjust our resource levels across the city to target the needs where they are.
I had a conversation maybe about a year and a half ago with someone from the forestry division about the fact that the staffing has not achieved, like, I guess, pre-pandemic levels. So can you just talk a little bit about the staffing in the forestry division? I know it's very difficult to also like recruit people because it's New York City. So who actually like is an arborist and can actually work on trees? But if you can just talk a little bit about the staffing and the shortages.
Sure. Yeah, so, as you mentioned, the pandemic created challenges for staffing everywhere. And hiring has been a problem across many industries. The two key titles that we employ for forestry work are climber and pruner and forester. And we have experienced climber and pruner shortages, difficulty in recruiting climbers and pruners for several years. And to respond to that, we developed an in-house training program. We have a 15-month-long training program where we train existing park staff from other titles, city park worker, gardener, associate park service worker, and some other titles, to become climbers and pruners. And we graduated the first class of that program this past October. I believe we have 17 graduates of that program who are now climbers and pruners, adding to our workforce across the city. And we started the second cohort of that class just a few weeks later this past November. So, come, a little over a year from now, we'll have another, dozen and a half or so to add to the workforce. So that's a big investment, but an important one in bringing this, bringing additional personnel into this really technical job that requires specialized training.
Can you talk a little bit about I just had my question and completely lost it. Mind is a terrible thing to waste. I'll go back to my other questions and hopefully I remember that one. It had to do with the tree climbing. Okay. So I have like a whole bunch of constituents. So like there's an issue with the constituent since like 2018. Mr. Sidney, he's been dealing with the tree leaning dangerously against his house. The roots of this tree have also clogged the sewer system, creating ongoing maintenance and financial burdens despite repeated outreach to 311 and other city resources. No permanent resolution has been provided. Then I have another constituent, Mr. Weeks, who reported that an old tree fell on his car, causing extensive damage. After contacting 311, he was informed to wait 30 days for a response. Even after the waiting period, he did not receive any follow-up or resolution. The lack of timely action highlights inefficiencies in addressing urgent tree-related incidents. I have Miss Britt, who contacted our office about tree roots growing in a way that threatened to damage the sewer line. And I understand, I've had folks explain it to me. It's not that the roots get into the sewer line. There was probably cracks, but either way, like if there is a crack in the sewer line, the trees tend to grow there. Despite the tree being planted by the city, she was told she would need to cover the cost for the removal. This left her feeling very overwhelmed. I have Miss Durham, who reported an overgrown tree near her home since 2022. The tree's branches have grown to the point of touching her solar panels, risking damage to her property and its energy system. The branches also extend over the sidewalk, posing a physical hazard to pedestrians. Despite multiple calls to 311, no action has been taken to address the issue, obviously leaving her frustrated. So could you explain how the criteria described in this bill might have prevented or mitigated some of the specific issues raised by our constituents, such as falling trees or root damage? And would you agree that a transparent system for tree maintenance prioritization would help to reduce the number of complaints received by council members and 311?
Okay.
And I remember my other question, which was if you could share the current schedule for tree maintenance, because I know that it was delayed. So if you could share like what the current delay is in the tree maintenance calendar.
Okay, I think I will take that most recent question first, if that's all right. So I wouldn't say that we currently have a delay in tree maintenance, but maybe I can just kind of give an overview of our how we maintain our trees. it's basically two different components. One is in response to public service requests, which I touched on earlier, and the other is our routine maintenance, our block pruning program, which operates on a 7-year cycle. We do have baseline funding for this, and it allows us to prune 1/7 of the trees in each community board in all 5 boroughs every year. We did have some delays through COVID, with contract stoppages, and then, it took some time to get new contracts into place. But I would not characterize that program as delayed at this point. When it comes to public service requests, understandably, we're managing, over 666,000 trees across the city. But somebody makes a request about a tree, the 666,000 trees don't matter to them. They care about the tree in front of their home. And so while we need to prioritize the most urgent work first, it's understandable that may not be satisfactory to every resident, every property owner. So we hear that, and we do try to be transparent and provide good information about the overall approach, so at least people can understand that we are dealing with a bigger picture. And we do have very good information on our website about our tree risk management program, the criteria involved, exactly as described in this bill. That is on our website now. The piece that we do not have clear criteria on, and which would be added through this bill is building clearance pruning requests. So we do take requests for building clearance pruning, and we do inspect those, and our inspectors use their judgment to determine if a tree is causing harm to the building or likely to do so in the near future. But as your staff have pointed out, as you pointed out over discussions over the last year, there's not a codified system for that as of yet. So we heard that request loud and clear, and we've started developing a system, and it is planned for, it's going to be incorporated into the new database, the new forestry management system that we are working on identifying a contractor to develop. So we're pretty far along in that contract procurement process. And that scope of work is going to be included in the new system. So with that, we will be able to have a systematic methodology for assessing building clearance requests, identifying a priority rating for that, just like we do for risk to people and property from trees or branches falling. And it'll be much easier for us to transparently communicate the level of priority associated with what we find in response to any of those requests.
Thank you. I know that in the testimony, it stated that you want to be able to have flexibility, and you don't necessarily think things like this should be codified into law. But again, I just want to reiterate that I think it's good governance to have these things be readily available to the public. And for them to be able to understand the ways in which you all assess and prioritize tree maintenance, because for many people it's quite a frustrating experience and then you can't touch the tree, because if you touch the tree, you're going to be in big trouble. But these trees pose a significant quality of life issues, particularly for homeowners. And I know, again, that you have thousands of trees in New York City. But I do think trees that are in residential communities is completely different than trees that may be in a park or trees that even may be along commercial corridors, because this is, you're talking about people's personal property. I think people have they're a little territorial over things that they buy and own, and then they have these trees that disrupt that whole thing. I have a few more bills about trees, because I do want to figure out a way to, one, make the process demystify, the tree maintenance process for constituents, but also, improve upon the process. And I know it isn't just through legislation, but through resources as well, because clearly it's really expensive and very hard to maintain all the trees, in a big city. So I hope that you guys take another look at the bill, and we can work towards getting to some resolution to pass it. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks so much, Councilmember Williams. I want to recognize we have Councilmember Narcisse, who's joined us as well, and now turn it over to Councilmember Holden. Oh, De La Rosa, sorry. Councilmember De La Rosa and then Holden.
Okay, thank you, chairs. I'll be quick, Bob, I promise. So I represent Inwood Hill Park. So first, let me start by thanking y'all for being first responders. It was a scary moment for our community, but thanks to your swift actions, we did not have any major property damage or any lives lost, thankfully. So we're very grateful for your swift actions. And, you know, I think all of us have a goal of learning from these incidents and making sure that things are running smoothly. One of the questions that I have is, has there been an official cause for determining what happened at Inwood Hill Park?
Although our Bureau of Fire Investigation, fire marshals investigated, they don't have a definitive cause for that, for what started that fire.
Okay. What metrics or monitoring systems are in place to assess the likelihood of the fire reigniting? Because that's something we saw here. The fire continued to reignite across about 5 days.
So ideally, we would put enough water on that fire to put it out so that it doesn't reignite. But as you see with brush fires, they spread sometimes further beyond the containment area that we realize it is, and continues to burn that we don't realize that.
Okay. So there isn't like a monitoring system in place?
We do leave a watch line, a company there, and for Inwood, that's what we had done. And then as the fire flared up, they called more companies back for us to continue to fight and extinguish that fire.
It was announced in November 2024, and obviously you testified to this, that the FDNY would be creating a task force to address bushfires across the city. What budgetary enhancements are necessary for, in your opinion, for the task force to be to effectively prevent and respond to fires?
So again, regarding the task force, we would like to be very innovative in the FDNY regarding our technology with our drones and, of course, with our equipment and apparatus. The brush fire apparatus, there are many new types of brush fire apparatus models. Our brush fire apparatus fleet is very old. And our lightweight hose, we need additional lightweight hose, and we also need possibly lightweight brush fire gear. We are fighting these fires in bunker gear and again using structural firefighting hose, and it's very labor intensive and it takes more staffing, and it's reducing the fire protection in the adjoining communities as we're sending multiple units to these brush fires that are expanding very quickly because we can't get ahead of it in time.
I had a really good meeting with Commissioner Tucker, and it was very refreshing to hear his take on some of the needs of the department. I do hope that you will get back to us under the leadership of Chair Arreola and the Fire Emergency Management side on what the actual numbers are for the needs for the department as we go into the budget fights that are to come. Will the Parks Department be included in the fire prevention response planning through the task force?
For our pre-fire planning, where we're doing site surveys, the Brush Fire Task Force does coordinate with the Parks Department to get access to different parts of the parks to survey those scenes.
Okay. I know that there's a pre-fire phase, an active fire phase, and a post-fire phase. Can you walk us quickly through what those phases entail?
So again, the pre-fire phase is basically education through our fire safety education, social media platforms, surveillance using the drone system, and surveillance using our brush fire units. Our brush fires mostly occur, the majority occur in October, November, and March, April. So we will conduct surveillance during those times. When we had the massive amount of brush fires in October, November, we actually extended the hours for surveillance up to 10, 11 o'clock at night to try to prevent that. So we're gonna doubled down on that with this pre-fire task force. The post-fire is cause and origin, and that's mainly our fire marshals. Again, they could identify the point of origin. They will look at the wind patterns. They would look at the perimeter. Very, very, very difficult to pinpoint the cause of these fires. And then on ongoing operations is basically our firefighting operations using our engine company apparatus and our brush fire apparatus. And we try to use the lighter brush fire apparatus. They have off-road capability, four-wheel drive, the terrain, the big red pumpers that you see, they get stuck in the mud. So again, we have many redundancies, whether there's hydrants or not, to overcome these obstacles.
And does the FDNY have the capacity at this time in your assessment to do adequate inspection of hydrants?
Right now, the New York City Fire Department inspects every hydrant twice a year. We always have.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember. And now Councilmember Holden.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Chair. I'd like the, could I have the tree commissioner or come, whatever?
Oh, it's okay. You want me to put you on the list? She wants to be on the list.
Because I have an issue, and I want to bring some other issues up too. But the main issue, since you centralized the tree maintenance, it's gotten worse. And I'll give you some examples. Now, I'm a big proponent of planting trees. I was doing it 30, 40 years ago. We did hundreds around the neighborhood. I actually consider them mine because I actually helped get them planted and went around to all the locations. However, since you centralized it, here's what happens, and I want to tell you real cases. A new tree was planted around the corner from where I live, so I generally walk past it. I noticed some guy, the homeowner probably, put a vinyl covering down because he didn't want weeds coming up. So he actually choked the tree. The tree died. I brought this up to Parks. I had to go through Central. I used to go to Phil Sparaccio, and I can't do that anymore. So I have to go to Central. Central apparently called up the homeowner. You got to remove that vinyl sheet. Well, the tree was dead. The tree was gone. You got to remove the vinyl sheet. Oh, and I called Central, and they said, oh, he promised to remove it. Well, guess what? He didn't. 6 months later, he didn't. I went by it again. I said, this is frustrating. This is stupid. And this is killing a tree. So they thought, oh, we're going to go out and find the guy. They issued him a summons. Again, months went by. Still. By the way, make a long story short, almost a year ago, the vinyl's still covering. The tree is still dead. I have stumps when I was 5 years old. Stumps that haven't been removed. I put in extra money for tree planting and stump removal, and it's not removed. No tree plantings. I'm not putting any more money into parks, period, unless you guys get your act together, like Vicky Palladino said, and certainly Councilmember Williams. There's this tree maintenance is a mystery. We don't know the standards. For instance, I have one of the beautiful tree in my district, again, 3 blocks away from my home, probably one of the oldest and largest and most beautiful, and looked like the healthiest. Central, I put in, I said, why is this tree being cut? It took like weeks to get an answer. The tree was gone. They cut it down. There was a tree right in front of the house that was actually probably, I like to use the term half dead, even though it's still alive. I understand it, but it's half of it's in terrible condition. That was in the front of the house, so I thought they mixed it up in the location because the same address, one was on the side, one was in the front. They cut down the majestic tree. I asked why. You know what they said? Well, it had a disease. Can you tell me what the disease was or is or? No. The person that called me from Central couldn't tell me. And so I knew that the owner of the home wanted the tree gone. I knew it because I live in that area. I know they were doing renovations, and he wanted that tree gone, and they got their way. So I suspected something. I suspected foul play here. I put a complaint in because I don't get, when you don't get satisfactory answers and you get like, oh, the tree was diseased, but no specifics. So I'm still waiting, and that's about 10 months ago. It's a problem. I got tree limbs hanging. There's no standard here, and if you're going to come up with a standard, that's what the bill's doing. The bill has 36 sponsors, co-sponsors, and yet you're saying we're opposed to this because we don't want to codify it. Well, that's what we want, by the way. The council wants it because it seems to go nowhere, these complaints. I understand you have the budget, and we're fighting for the 1% budget, and we need that, and we need certainly our trees maintained, because trees that are not maintained can kill people and cause a lot of property damage, and they do. So that's why I'm suspect when you say you don't want to codify. Then right away I say, oh, I know why, because then it can actually delay response, and it does. It's the most frustrating thing that we deal with complaints from constituents, and they don't get answered, and then we look bad. Councilman, I complained 5 years ago about this tree, and nothing's being done. You've been a council member, and you can't get it done. Well, I can't cut down trees, but I need satisfactory answers, which we're not getting. And I need it when it's centralized. It got even worse. So I don't get. I just like some response to what you're saying. How do we know the classification of the tree, which this bill is trying to do? Like, is this on a scale of 1 to 10? Is 10? Is this a 2? I have these little nails that are put in trees that they're going to come down. It's going on years and years and years, and I get older and older and older. And now my shelf life in this council is this year, and this is it. And I want to solve problems because people are going to bring it up. Like, you didn't handle my tree. It's 8 years. You didn't get my tree pruned or maintained or fixed or at least looked at.
Okay, so first of all, I want to thank you for all the support you have given to trees over the years. I know you've put a lot of funding into tree planting, tree maintenance, tree bed care, things like that. So, your interest in that is crystal clear.
Could you speak up a little, because I'm a little hard here.
Sorry, I may just be a little further from the microphone than I should be.
Yeah, that's good.
I was just thanking you for the support.
Yeah, I know. I heard that part.
Yeah. So specifically on the bill. As I mentioned before, that when we developed our tree risk management program nearly a decade ago, we were the vanguard, and in many ways we still are, the criteria for assessing trees for risk, the standard is on our website. So we are transparent about that. As I mentioned before,
About specifically, though, what the rating of a specific tree, you're against, because that's a lot of work. I get it. But if you could classify, when we make a complaint, whether that there's, how... Like, I'll put a complaint that there's carpenter ants all over the place. It looks like there's a lot of, debris around it. It looks diseased. Certainly when it does come down in a storm, it looks like it came down very easily, and you look at it, it's hollowed rot. And what I was told, and I don't know if this is still being done, that when they go out and look at the tree, they knock on it to see if it is some kind of noise or hollow. And then but how do they assess the tree's health? And none of this is this on the website? How they assess the tree's health? How do they determine whether it's diseased and what extent?
Yes, some of it is, and there is information about the the kind of most present concerns of pests and disease on our website. The criteria for doing the risk assessment are on our website. As you mentioned, sounding a tree, that's what we call, we knock on it with a soft mallet. That is part of the inspection process. So our opposition to this bill is not based on really anything in the content of the bill itself. The risk assessment component of the bill, that is exactly what we already do. The building clearance assessment, we recognize that kind of formal assessment of risk to property from trees growing into them is missing from our system. So we're developing exactly that type of system. It doesn't exist out there in the industry. We have to develop that. It's being locked into that kind of current state that concerns us, because we developed the tree risk management system that we use now based on a standard that the industry had developed for looking at one tree. And we apply that to our entire population, and that ability to innovate is really key.
Well, what I don't, and I'll just turn it back to the chair in a second, but what I don't understand, because I've complained for a long time, how parks used to plant trees with putting cobblestones or bricking it in. And they did that to my tree twice in front of my house, and both times it died. And I said, why do you put these pavers down? Why don't you give it enough air? Why don't you give it enough soil? Why don't you open up the tree pit a little bit more? And then finally they did it. But they're still not giving enough. I know they expanded the tree pits, but this maintenance, and I appreciate the program, but just telling people how to water a tree, I tell them, you water your garden, and then you wonder why. You don't water the trees, so you wonder why the sidewalks are getting picked up, because you're watering your garden. That's where the roots are going, I guess. They're going for the water source. If you don't water the tree, it's going to probably pick up your sidewalk because you're only watering your garden. And that's happening over and over again. So we need education. If you're going to request a tree, you got to sign on to an agreement. How you could enforce that, I understand, but I just don't. My biggest complaint is about when you centralized this tree maintenance and tree planting, and I get less trees, I get less, maintenance, and I get less answers to my complaint. Thank you, chairs.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Holden. Before I'm turning it over to Councilmember Narcisse, I just want to echo again that you're hearing these concerns because across the council there's a real concern about tree maintenance and care, and the perception between what's happening on the ground and the way Parks is approaching it. One thing I will continue to say is that Parks really needs to expand the pool of contractors that you all work with, and I've raised this before at prior hearings, and we can cover it again at another hearing on trees. But I will just say the contractors that Parks worked with are not adequate. At the last hearing we talked about the Dragonetti contractor pled guilty on felony fraud charges. There's another contractor that's as well, Griffin Landscape, that's also pled guilty on fraud charges. The contractors that Parks works with on this issue are problematic. The pool is not big enough, and when they have these criminal issues and they're convicted of them, it affects their operations and business for obvious reasons, and that in turn affects the amount of tree care our city is getting. And so Parks really needs to look at this and expand that pool of contractors that you all are using.
We appreciate those sentiments, Councilmember, and in fact, I think the agency's been dedicated to expanding the pool of contractors, not just for tree work, but agency-wide. And we're actually quite proud of we've had great success in the MWBE sphere and others, and everyone benefits when you can expand the universe of folks willing to get in there and do the work. Specific to tree work, there are highly technical considerations and other challenges, but we are dutifully focused on that and open to further. And you've been a great champion on that front, and we appreciate that.
Absolutely, no, and I appreciate that, and I look to see more of it too. I think one thing we have to get away is the mindset that any of these contractors their work is too essential. They're sort of too big to fail. We can't have that here, because then we keep relying on the same problematic contractors and are not expanding at a quick enough pace to broaden that pool. So it's an issue we need to keep working on. I have a few more questions on going back to brush fires, but I'll turn it over to Councilmember Narcisse. I also want to recognize that Councilmember Lee has joined us as well.
Good afternoon, Chair, and good afternoon for being here. Anyone that knows that this area here, we love parks, and you have Mr. Parks with ya.
That's right.
Following up the question on the hydrant, who maintained the hydrants by the parks?
The hydrants in New York City are maintained by the Department of Environmental Protection, and inside the parks, I guess it's a combination of parks and DEP maintain fire hydrants.
The reason I asked that question because many of the hydrants that I find by the parks are not working. So that's one of the complaints. And then
All right, if you could get us that, those locations, and we'll make sure that they get reported to get inspected and repaired.
Thank you. In the areas where we have high population of homeless individuals, what enhanced monitoring or patrol are in place to prevent the occurrence of brush fires? Because lately we've been hit, so we have to learn from our mistakes. How does the Parks Department ensure these areas are checked frequently for potential hazards?
Sure, appreciate that. Thank you, Council Member. We have our Parks Enforcement Patrol division, which works really closely with NYPD, local precincts, the NYPD Homeless Outreach Unit, other agencies, including Department of Homeless Services. There's a broader Mayor's Homeless Task Force. They do scheduled joint outreach, cleanup operations if there is an encampment, which can present obviously some fire, risk of fire, like in some cases, obviously. But that's alongside other efforts to sort of monitor parkland and make sure we're addressing other violations that could be potentially dangerous, whether it's unauthorized smoking, barbecuing in unauthorized areas, right? So it's sort of a multi-pronged kind of effort. But specific to the encampment issue, there is sort of a citywide effort, largely steered by NYPD and Department of Homeless Services, and Parks is a part of that effort as well. Because it depends on the specific location and if it's under Parks' jurisdiction or not, and that can vary, obviously.
And last time I had one, I had full support, so I want to say thank you for that. How does the Park Department prioritize tree maintenance in relation to fire prevention? Are there specific trees or areas that are particularly vulnerable to brush fires, and how do we address those risks?
Thank you for the question. In general, in natural areas, we have a prioritization that looks at all sorts of factors with respect to the benefit and the value of our natural areas, keeping in mind safety for the public, but also the conditions of those ecosystems. When we're looking specifically at where there might be fire risk, it's generally related to herbaceous or grass type species, so Phragmites or mugwort. Those are the ones where we generally see the largest risk, and we've been able to focus with some funding that we've had through, and as a result of our community wildfire protection plan, particularly in Staten Island, on mowing, which is basically fuel reduction. So that's what we do when and where we have resources, when it's the appropriate, when that's the vegetation community that we see is a real risk. One example.
I want to say thank you, but please follow up with the encampment in our parks, because lately we've been having a lot of that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Councilman Narcisse. Just to close out, I have a few questions going back to my initial round before. Isn't it a fact that if you all had an increased budget for the Parks Department, you all would have more resources and staff to address the issue of forest fires as best as you can?
That's certainly a fact, that if we had more resources, we would have more staff on the ground to be able to participate in a range of both preventative and education and responses.
Thank you. And I would say, and we've heard a bit about testimony today on this issue, but it seems to me there are two areas in particular that we've talked about a bunch today. Forestry and PEP, both of which seem critical to addressing forest fires and keeping our forests and natural areas safe. Both of those were also areas that either did not receive any funding increase or got cut in this budget, in this last budget, because of City Hall's failure to adequately fund the Parks Department. Wouldn't you say that if you actually did not have funding cuts, but actually had a funding increase to the Forestry Division, that you all would have more resources in place to address the issue of forest fires across the city?
Thank you for the question. Given that fires occur in an unpredictable way, we can never totally predict having a certain amount of staff at each location on a one-to-one basis, but certainly in general, if we had more people on the ground and more resources, we could do more things.
That's exactly right. I think that part of the issue is we're seeing these fires pop up everywhere around the city, and the staff you have seems stretched very thin in the forestry division and natural areas in particular to be able to address it, which is why it is shocking to me that we saw from City Hall's side a cut in the forestry and natural areas budget in our last budget. Wouldn't you also say that having an increase in resources for PEP officers in our parks will help keep our parks safer? When you have incidents of forest fires, help to deter activity that may contribute to forest fires. Wouldn't you say an increased resources for PEP would assist with that as well?
Increased resources, sort of by definition, wouldn't expand PEP's abilities to monitor and patrol parks writ large, which would have a variety of benefits. And, I think we're a little wary of sort of drawing a one-to-one sort of parallel in terms of the outcomes, which are so unpredictable in this case in terms of brush fires. But having said that, there's sort of a logical truism that more is more.
And it seems to me that when we can't control the climate and the events, the best we can do and we should do is, from a preventative standpoint, take all the measures that we can to protect ourselves, and from a reactive standpoint, after it happens, all the measures we can to contain it as safely as possible. And I think you all did a good job, a very good job with the resources you have to address it, despite limitations like fire hydrant access or cuts to our natural areas and forestry division overall. With limited PEP, I believe it's about 300 for across the entire city, if I'm not mistaken. But that is nowhere near the level we need to adequately prepare for these kinds of incidents, especially because they're unpredictable, and nowhere near what we need to react to them and to contain them, especially seeing how quickly those fires spread in Los Angeles too. And so, in closing, I want to thank you all for coming, but also highlight and really underscore the importance of having Parks Department resources in place for these divisions in particular, for the department overall, to best position parks to address these kinds of natural disasters. Thank you all so much for your testimony. Appreciate it. And before we turn over to public testimony, again, appreciate FDNY and Parks coming out today and look forward to our continued work together on this issue as well. I'm now going to open up the hearing for public testimony. I remind members of the public that this is a formal government proceeding and that decorum shall be observed at all times. As such, members of the public shall remain silent at all times. The witness table is reserved for people who wish to testify. No video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recordings to the Sergeant-at-Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. If you wish to speak at today's hearing, please fill out an appearance card with the Sergeant-at-Arms and wait to be recognized. When recognized, you will have 2 minutes to speak on today's hearing topics: preventing brush fires in parks, and Intro 800 and a pre-considered intro to that effect. If you have a written statement or additional written testimony you wish to submit for the record, please provide a copy of that testimony to the Sergeant-at-Arms. You may also email written testimony to testimony@council.nyc.gov within 72 hours of this hearing. Audio and video recordings will not be accepted. And now we'll call up our first in-person panel, which is Daniel Abram, Deontay Johnson, and Layla Bakhtari.
Good afternoon, Chair Krishnan. Chair Ariola's not here, but and members of the committees. My name is Daniel Abram. I am the Director of Policy at New Yorkers for Parks. Thank you for the opportunity today to testify to the urgent need to prevent and mitigate brush fires in our city's parks. The fires that swept through 41 acres of our natural areas last year exposed critical weaknesses in the city's ability to protect and manage these spaces. One of the most significant issues is the severe underfunding of New York City Parks Natural Resources Group, which has lost 51 forest management positions due to budget cuts. As a result, only 384 acres of 12,000 can be cared for by Natural Resources Group in fiscal year 26. This staffing loss directly impacts the ability of the Parks Department to remove fire-prone invasive species, maintain safe trails, and support a rapid response when fires do occur. The recent fires and ongoing threats to our city's natural areas underscore the urgent need for sustained investment in park management and fire prevention. To address these challenges, we urge the Mayor's Office and the City Council to support restoration and baselining of $5 million to rehire 76 critical staff for the Natural Resources Group to maintain forests, reduce fire risks, and formalize trails. Invest $20.5 million to hire 250 additional PEP officers and baseline 50 urban park rangers. Increased enforcement and staff presence are essential to deterring unsafe activity in natural areas that can lead to forest fires, brush fires. And also ensuring a coordinated interagency response by strengthening collaboration between New York City Parks, FDNY, and other agencies to improve emergency response times and long-term restoration efforts. While I appreciate the intent of legislation such as Intro 800 and the pre-considered Bill 3015 to establish a wildfire mitigation plan, I urge the Council to focus on securing stable baseline funding for New York City parks. Without proper resources, legislative mandates risk becoming unfunded requirements solely for transparency rather than actionable solutions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to testify. My name is Leila Mugui Bakhtiari, and I serve as the Director of Landscape Management for the Prospect Park Alliance, the nonprofit partner of New York City Parks that helps manage Brooklyn's flagship park. Prospect Park is home to 350 acres of natural areas, including Brooklyn's last remaining upland forest. I oversee Prospect Park's dedicated team of gardeners, ecologists, forestry technicians, and arborists who preserve and restore the park's natural areas. The importance of proactive and strategic natural area management was made painfully clear on Friday, November 8, 2024, when a 2-alarm fire devastated 2 acres of the ravine. Our parks need dedicated city funding for natural area management and ongoing maintenance to keep our forests healthy and resilient to the risks of climate change. New York City has 12,000 acres of natural areas, and 6,800 acres of that are forests on New York City Parks property. Prospect Park has more than 10 million annual visits, and 370,000 Brooklynites live in the immediate vicinity of the park. We're lucky a visitor spotted and reported the fire so quickly, or the devastation could have been much more significant. Thanks to the swift response of FDNY, the fire was contained and extinguished. However, the damage to this critical habitat left us with significant restoration challenges. Our team is stabilizing the steep slopes in the affected area to prevent erosion, but full restoration will require years of intensive work and long-term monitoring. Without sufficient funding to prioritize the care and maintenance of our cherished parks, our ability to prevent such disasters is significantly impaired. Underfunded parks face delayed maintenance, making them more susceptible to hazards such as tree failures, erosion, and, as we've experienced, devastating fires. Parks are essential infrastructure, and without proper investment, their capacity to foster climate resilience, biodiversity, and public well-being is deeply compromised. Thank you.
Thanks, Leila, for the testimony, and to all the work of Prospect Park Alliance. I just have a couple of questions. Can you actually quantify how much damage was caused by the forest fire?
We're still assessing that because of the time of the fire. The trees go into dormancy, so we need to wait for the spring to kind of see, especially for the larger trees, how much the damage was. But the area, the 2-acre area, had damage to all 3 layers of the forest. So it was not just the, herbaceous or the brush layer. It was the mid-story, which is the shrubs and the younger trees, and also some of the large trees. This was a protected area, part of the Forever Wild sites of the park, behind a fence. And we are lucky enough to have started some of the restoration work, specifically the erosion control, to make sure that when we get significant rain, all of this area doesn't get washed off and eroded.
but the damage is there's still recovery work happening.
There's recovery work happening, and long-term restoration and maintenance takes years. This area was actually one of the first areas, the Prospect Park Alliance, when we were started in the late 80s and early 90s. This area was restored with capital funds. It was one of the first capital forest restoration sites in the city that was done only with native plants. And it takes a long time for trees to grow.
And I know the Alliance obviously have the staff in place to address the issue too, but how much natural areas, or more broadly forestry division staff from the Parks Department did you have working with you all to respond to this situation?
So the Alliance is a partnership. We work together. For example, the forestry division of parks helped us with any access or any trees that needed to be removed the day after the fire, and most of the natural area restoration is done by the Alliance staff.
Would you say that increasing the budget for forestry and and replacing, putting the funding back that was cut for natural areas, and also increasing it, would help address this situation, not just at Prospect Park, but for protected areas throughout the city?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Councilmember Holden.
Regarding Prospect Park, in that area, what fuels the fire? That means, like, I would assume dead trees, fallen trees, dry wood. Was that the case in this situation?
It was, but also October, as it was mentioned multiple times, was the second driest October in history of New York City. So pretty much.
I know we can't control that, but we can control maintenance.
Yes.
Which, if we had the additional resources, we can remove. Like, what fuels the fire, or makes it worse, or makes it spread? Because of lack of maintenance. That's my question, really.
Yeah, and I think inside natural areas is the proper maintenance of those natural areas, and outside on the trails and access and removing leaf off the paths.
Or what is, like, thinning the tree canopy, or having a break so it doesn't spread, things like that, which they tried in LA and it didn't work. But I understand when this is a drought, that's understandable. We can't control that, but we can control the spread of fire if we figure it out. So maintenance is very important, I would assume, because we have Forest Park. It was in my district, and you go in there and there's a lot of dead trees. Mm-hmm. There's trees that have fallen that are left for years. I'm just wondering if that could contribute. And we didn't really have a widespread fire there, but it's possible.
Dead trees that fall usually are left because they're habitat for for both pollinators and for animals, and they disintegrate. But you are right that maintenance of the landscape, of making sure the correct biodiversity and correct plants are there, that the layers are all healthy.
Right.
And the unwanted, very flammable plants like mugwort and Phragmites that was discussed are eradicated.
Okay, thank you. Thanks so much. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Good afternoon. My name is Deontay Johnson. I'm the Policy Fellow at the New York League of Conservation Voters. NYLCV is a statewide environmental advocacy organization representing over 30,000 members in New York City. Thank you, Chairs Christian and Ariola, and the members of the Committees on Parks and Fire and Emergency Management for the opportunity to comment. As the effects of climate change continue to be felt all across America, we must actively fight for our environment and the people most vulnerable. Last year, between October 29th and November 14th, FDNY responded to at least 229 brush fires. These fires occurred in all 5 boroughs in our beloved parks as temperatures soared above 70 degrees in the early days of November. Well-managed parks, trees, and green spaces are critical to combat the risk of brush fires and other climate-related problems in our city. A lack of robust long-term funding for our park system threatens New York City parks and a strained workforce. To thrive, we must invest in parks and parks workers, because when our parks flourish, so does our city. The parks budget is essential to making sure our parks work for all New Yorkers. New York City Parks was the only city agency to not receive budget restorations impacting safety and accessibility, especially in vulnerable environmental justice communities. Last year's parks budget cuts, particularly in the Parks Department's Natural Resources Group, increased the likelihood of fires in our city's parks, since there was an overall lack of park maintenance with fewer trails and less debris being cleared. As a result, there weren't enough maintenance workers for sufficient debris removal, allowing the perfect conditions for fires that were preventable. For FY26, the Playfair for Parks Coalition requests a total of $95 million for New York City parks, including $36.2 million for resilient parks. This means 148 forestry staff for tree care on streets and in parks, and 76 natural area staff to manage and maintain 12,000 acres of natural areas, 300 miles of trails, and increasing access and protection against fires in our city parks. The fight against climate change is one that requires an active and targeted action in all aspects of our daily life. Our parks serve as the lungs of our city, providing critical green space in every borough, promoting community building, economic growth, and climate resiliency. Our parks deserve investment because when our parks flourish, so does our city. Thank you for the opportunity to comment.
Thank you for your testimony. Now, our next panel, and then we'll go to virtual, are Emily Walker and Scott Middleton. You may begin.
All right, good afternoon. My name is Emily Walker, and I'm the Senior Manager of External Affairs at the Natural Areas Conservancy. Thank you, chairs, for the opportunity to speak today. As champions for NYC's natural areas, we care deeply about the care and condition of our forests, and we're alarmed to see the devastating impacts of drought conditions last fall, which led to the spate of brush fires in parks and natural areas across the 5 boroughs. The timing of the drought, as we've discussed, and brush fires happened to coincide with the elimination of 51 forest management positions for the Natural Resources Group in the FY25 adopted budget for parks. These positions constituted approximately 80% of the agency's workforce that care for our 14,000 acres of natural areas and forests in our city's parks. As a stopgap measure to keep critical staff in place in the wake of the FY25 budget cuts, 22 of the eliminated staff lines were shifted onto federal grant funding via the Inflation Reduction Act. With this week's freeze on federal grants, these positions are once again in peril. This precarious staffing for the Division of Parks that plays such a critical role in contributing to the climate health of our city reflects a shameful lack of urgency from our decision makers, and we are here today to ask that the Council take the strongest stand possible to ensure that this funding is made whole in the FY26 budget. The brush fires are a stark reminder of the city's vulnerability to climate change and the city's ongoing failure to invest critical funding for natural areas management. We strongly believe that better staffed and maintained natural areas are safer for public access and more ecologically resilient. While improved staffing wouldn't have prevented the drought, Parks has for too long been operating with minimal resources to do critical management, restoration, and monitoring in our natural areas during this era of climate instability. With increased staffing, NRG would be able to do more work to control and suppress the spread of invasive species that leave our forests more vulnerable to fire. Adequate staff is also now critically needed to ensure that fire locations can be restored and monitored appropriately. The fires made clear that it is more urgent than ever that our city's leaders take meaningful action by adequately funding the care of our natural areas. We know that healthier forests help create a healthier climate, and that failing to invest in our natural areas will leave the city more vulnerable to flooding, extreme heat, and now fire. Thank you.
Simone, thanks so much for your testimony, Emily. You know, and just on that point too, I mean, of course, your testimony I think was very strong about the importance of the natural areas funding, but it has to be the case that we are far from adequately staffed to care for our natural areas, whether it's to protect from fires that are out of our control, but that we can do a lot to protect and prevent as much as possible, and to care for them in general. It has to be the case that we are deeply understaffed in general, right? Apart from the funding piece of this.
That's correct. And if I might add, the Forest Management Framework for New York City, which was referenced by our colleagues at NYC Parks, the Natural Areas Conservancy helped co-create that plan a number of years ago. If you refer to the management framework itself, you'll see that we're actually far behind the ideal level of staffing and funding that we should would have if we were to be following the spirit of that management framework, which again was developed very thoughtfully and intentionally with our colleagues at Environment and Planning at Parks. We just have not seen sufficient baseline funding, any baseline funding to speak of for NRG. You heard that they have 60 full-time staff for 14,000 acres of wetlands, forests, and marshlands. It's just not sufficient to meet the need, and it's a third of our park system. So we really hope we can work with you all this year to really ensure that we're getting a more sufficient level of staffing for this division. Thank you so much.
A staff of 60 for 14,000 acres is ridiculous. And what from the report that you all did, if you remember, what was the ideal level of staffing that's needed to maintain a park system that's this large?
I believe we would have at least 78 additional staff on the park side of things based on the FMF, or the Forest Management Framework. There is also we're happy to follow up with your offices after this to share that report. There is kind of a 25-year timescale and budget that breaks down what the capital investment would be needed and what the expense budget needs would be. We're falling well short of that. If I was trying to look on my phone on the tiny PDF, I think we should have at least $16 million in expense funding by this year in implementation. We're in year 6 of implementation, technically speaking. We have, as of this year, actually $0 implemented for the FMF because of the FY25 budget cuts. So we're really well below the level that should be needed to support the work that our colleagues are doing. And I just want to emphasize that our colleagues in NRG are doing incredible work with a incredibly paltry amount of resources, and we want to make sure that that is uplifted and seen, that they have a tremendous workload, that they just are really trying to do incredible work with not enough people.
Thank you for your testimony.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to testify today. My name is Scott Middleton, and I'm the Executive Director of the Marine Park Alliance. We're the Friends of group for Brooklyn's biggest park, Marine Park. Hundreds of acres of marine park wetlands were used to dispose of non-hazardous solid waste between 1934 and 1964. Since that time, most of Marine Park's landfilled uplands have become colonized by monocultures of mugwort and Phragmites, species that have been discussed at length during today's hearing. These plants become highly flammable when dry. Any spark can set them off. Last fall, New York City's severe drought caused an unprecedented number of wildfires throughout the city. The most frequent of these citywide were here in Marine Park. Phragmites ignited in the park's salt marsh areas, and winds carried the flames up to transitional native plantings and coastal forests in the park, leading to individual burns of up to 6 acres. Up to 20 acres burn here annually, a great concern to adjacent homeowners and to park visitors alike. This year, fires occurred nearly daily between October 1st and Thanksgiving. Marine Park Alliance also leads a committee of concerned nonprofits that use and care for the 530-acre Forever Wild Preserve here in Marine Park. One of our committee members responds to each and every fire reported, the Garrettson Beach Volunteer Fire Department. The Volleys, as they are affectionately called in our neck of the woods, are outfitted with equipment and vehicles specifically to handle these frequent brush fires. We also work with New York City Parks Natural Resources Group, NRG, which has captured city, state, and federal funding over the last 40 years to perform numerous salt marsh restorations, including regrading, planting, and transforming uplands dominated by non-native species into native coastal grassland, shrubland, and forest. Sustaining these native habitats requires active management, and with each round of budget cuts, maintenance of natural areas is unfortunately an early casualty. Marine Park Alliance and its supporters are committed to the preservation and resilience of Garrettson Creek's unique habitats in Marine Park. Our efforts aim to curb future fires and vandalism by demonstrating positive community stewardship of natural areas in response to a high-profile crisis for New York City parks. We are strongly supportive of any effort to restore the budget so that natural areas expert technicians can return to Brooklyn's largest park. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony.
Thank you.
And now we'll move to our virtual panel. We have Marshall Lee Weimer, followed by Christina Taylor.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you, council members. I appreciate having this opportunity to speak. My name is Marshall Lee Weimer. I'm a city forester with Manhattan Borough Forestry at NYC Parks. I listened to the testimony all today. Excuse me while I'm getting on the bus right now. But the issue, I was actually at the Inwood Hill fire on November 15th. I responded to it to look at the trees that were hazardous to the parks users there. And I agree with all that has been said today that there needs to be more funding and baseline of staff to mitigate these wildfire concerns. These are going to be issues that we're going to face for the foreseeable future within our natural areas. And as of now, we do not have the preparation ready for that. And so I look forward to seeing the Parks Department and the FDNY getting the support that they need from the State Council in order to address these concerns. In regard to Introduction 800, I do risk assessments every day for trees throughout the state, specifically in the borough of Manhattan. And while I sympathize with the concerns of all the constituents and also the council members about tree hazards not being addressed. The issue is not whether or not the criteria is available to folks. It is the lack of staffing in order to address these concerns. So if there are not climber pruners on staff to mitigate these concerns, we have as much education about how we do risk assessments available, but those tree risks will not be addressed. So what needs to happen is we need to have more incentives and more pay for the climber pruners. The in-house training program that Ben Osborne brought up earlier was one of those great solutions to that, but there needs to be a higher pay for the state parks workers who join that program in order to become climber pruners. And okay, well, thank you, and I hope you take my concerns.
You can finish up and wrap up if you have anything more you wanted to add.
Well, yeah. Again, it's staffing. If you want to have your tree risks addressed, you need to have the staff to do so. And to have the staff to do so, you need to have more pay and incentive for the climber pruners. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Christina Taylor.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Christina Taylor, Deputy Director for the Van Cortlandt Park Alliance. We are a member of the Playfair Coalition. Thank you for allowing me to testify virtually. Once again, I was down at City Hall last week for the Parks Rally on the steps. I would rather not add up the number of hours that I've spent advocating for parks funding over the last 2 decades. It is extremely frustrating that we have to continue to do this dance every year. Last fall, we had a new obstacle to overcome, as you guys have been discussing. We added drought and brush fires to the list of climate change impacts on our parks when New York City experienced a record level drought. Lack of water combined with high winds resulted in Van Cortlandt parks experiencing numerous fires in a concentrated period of time. We had 3 locations in our parks were severely impacted by brush fires. We believe inconsistent funding for our natural areas and for forest management staff directly increase the risk of brush in natural areas forest fires and will lead to an insufficient response and recovery plan. We are supportive of Playfair Coalition's request for funding in the FY26 budget. Luckily for Van Cortlandt Park, we have a small but dedicated park staff. We have a small but dedicated Alliance staff and a small but dedicated Vital volunteers who work together prior to, during, and after the brush fires to reduce the impact. While we understand the desire for bills such as Intro 800 2024 and the pre-considered bill. But we believe that more consistent baseline funding for parks is what is ultimately needed to advance the intent of these bills. There is concern that further legislating these processes will amount to unfunded mandate for the agency. It is not fair to once again ask New York City parks to do more, but with less funding. New Yorkers deserve a fully funded, safe, clean, green, and resilient park system. The ongoing budget cuts to New York City parks and the proposed budget for next fiscal year jeopardize the very heart of our communities. These cuts will make it even more difficult for the already understaffed, under-resourced Parks Department to carry out the basic needs to ensure parks are equitable and accessible for all New Yorkers. Year after year, New York City park staff does more with less. The staff is already stretched too thin. They are tired and frustrated, and so are we. We demand 1% of the city's budget for New York City parks. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. We're going to jump back to in person and call up Jack Spillane from Uniformed Fire Officer Association.
How you doing? Thank you very much for allowing me to speak here today. My name is Jack Splain. I'm recording secretary for Uniform Fire Officers Association. I've been on this job for a long time. I love parks. I love the fire department. I hate fires in parks. It's a big, big problem. I was a captain on Staten Island for over 6 years. We dealt with a lot of stuff in Great Kills Park, Fresh Kills Park, up on Lighthouse Hill. What you find yourself nowadays is we are dressed for interior firefighting. We're wearing bunker gear. We're wearing 80 pounds of gear. That's all well and good when you're going down a hallway into an enclosed area. But we either traverse over large swaths of land, up and downhill, a lot of times with limited visibility, wearing clunky boots and heavy equipment. It's very, very difficult. Also carrying these 5-gallon Indian pumps. If you see the guys in California, they spray the water and stuff like that, right? It's difficult. And the hoses we use in other parts of the city, they use it for interior firefighting. They use those in Prospect Park. They use up in Inwood. They use those in Van Cortlandt Park. We need to implement a better set of gear for wildland firefighting, something lighter, something with like better boots for better traction, better walking around capabilities. We need to implement more forestry hose. It's a 1/4-inch diameter, 1-inch diameter hose, very pliable. It's easy to stretch, and you can carry over 1,000 feet of that on a roll about that big. So there's a lot of things the department can do. We should probably also expand the units of the drones, usage of the drone unit. That's a great tool. They get in deep into the park, see where the deep-seated fires are. Maybe we'll be able to send a certain amount of resources to that one area to mitigate it with less people and less cause for injury. So just going forward, it's a bigger problem. It's a big problem. It's multifaceted. And without the proper training and equipment, firefighters have to perform a longer periods of time in tougher conditions and open themselves up to injury. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for your testimony. And as we've spoken about many times, the fire department for the last 3 years that I've been the chair has been baselined. There hasn't been an increase in your budget at all, and that's just not acceptable. And we're seeing more fires, and we're seeing our firehouses breaking down, our fire equipment breaking down. The equipment you're mentioning that's needed, the heavy gear, and everything that needs to be changed. And because why hasn't the fire department gotten additional money? Because the fire department does their job no matter what. No matter what, whether you have the funding or you don't. But this year is different. You as the union are here asking for money. The fire department today asked for money. Me as your chair will be fighting for money. I just had a conversation with Chair Krishnan about Parks Department and Fire Department. We need your departments to be as well funded as other first responding departments within this city of New York. You're not a stepchild. You are a very important agency that responds to fires that save lives. And I will do my best with my colleagues in government to make sure that you get what you need. I've already started with conversations with the union, yourselves, with Commissioner Tucker, with OMB, and with the mayor's office. And we really won't stop until we have what we need for the Parks Department, for the Fire Department, and for any other agency that had really been a stepchild over the last number of budget cycles. So thank you so much for taking the time to come here today.
Thank you. One other thing, if I could, we get the gear, we can work quicker, we can get less damage to these parks too, because as other people testified to, damage occurs, takes a long time for that damage to be reversed. The quicker we get in there, the better, more proficient we are with the training, the better off for the parks too. Thank you.
I appreciate you saying. I just want to echo what Chair Ariola said too. First of all, thank you so much for your work every day, from the buildings to our parks. but I couldn't agree more. I mean, these are, as I mentioned before, the parks. There's a lot we can do, even for natural disasters, to prepare, to respond to them effectively, and it requires the budget for both agencies to support that, including with the budget for better, more efficient equipment for fires outdoors too. So we will keep pushing on that as well. And it's clear to me from today's hearing too how underfunded, I think for all of us, how underfunded both parks and FDNY are, and how much more funding both of you agencies need for these kinds of emergency situations. So thank you.
Thank you.
Now we'll go back to virtual. We have Faye Hill.
You have no rides scheduled for today. You have.
Faye, are you there?
Who?
Yeah, can you hear us? Are you ready to testify?
Who is it?
Are you here? Are you ready to testify for our New York City Council Parks and Fire Committee hearing?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello?
Yep, you can begin.
Did you say Faye Hill?
Yep, we're ready.
Oh, I'm
if
sorry.
You're ready. No,
Okay.
don't worry. We're ready, Miss
Good
Hill, when you
evening.
are.
Good evening. Good day, legislative committee and the city council member. Thank you for allowing me to testify in support of Intro 0800-2024. My name is Faye Hill. I'm a resident of Queens, Springfield Gardens for over 48 years. I'm the chair of the Community Board 13 and Environmental for several years, and an advocate for the New York City Park and Green Space, where I've testified on behalf of New York for Parks, rallied on the steps of City Hall, and testified on various of New York City Council administration. I'm here to testify once more on the critical issue of why low tree maintenance is critical and unsafe for my community and other areas of the city. On several occasions, when I hosted the Parks and Environmental Committee, Community Board 13 meetings, there are many concerns from the community in reference to low maintenance of trees that are a major problem and are a danger to people and their property. This has been a long occurring problem and our committee meetings, and no end is in sight. I'm here to testify personally today. On January the 9th, 2025, at approximately 2:30, one of the city trees fell down because of low maintenance. Luckily, this tree did not damage the roof of my home, but I had to replace the electrical pole adjoining to my home and the wires for Con Edison. This tree has been reported several times for over 6 years by my neighbor because of low maintenance, when fallen branches were reported breaking from the trees. But the New York Parks Department, Forestry Department, when they eventually inspected the tree, they reported that the tree was in good condition and they placed a pink tag on its bark. There's another tree directly in front of my home which has the same condition, but forestry said the tree is in perfect condition. There are several trees in our parks in Rosedale and Springfield Gardens that need total maintenance. When a tree falls in within a park, broken limbs that can be hazardous to people's life, they are left there for several months before they're either removed or cut down. We do need trees to help us breathe in oxygen, clean the environment, as well as beautification of our community. But proper care and maintenance is also vital. When trees are not properly maintained, they pose a threat to harm human or property as a result of on January 9th, as stated above. When trees are not maintained, they are a threat from falling limbs on people, property, and building. As I also mentioned, that the fallen tree damaged my neighbor's car that was parked in front of her home when the neighbor had just returned minutes from shopping. This could have been injured or killed her. Her car is totaled. I'm pleading to the legislative committee and our city council to vote on Intro 0080-2024 into legislation. Thank you for your time. Respectfully submitted, Faye D. Hill.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hill, for your testimony. Now we have Christopher Leon Johnson.
Hello, my name is. Can I go?
Yep. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Christopher Leon Johnson. Thank you, Chair Ariola and Chair Christian, for having us hearing today. So I'm opposed to Shekar Christian's T for the resolution or the bill introduction to change the law to move the mitigation of fires from the fire department to the Parks Department. And I'm gonna explain why. This is nothing but a union shift because DC 37 is a union shift and a nonprofit PAC shift from the UFA and the UFOA to the New York League of Compensation Voters that's ran by Julie Teig and DC 37, which is ran by Henry Garrido. Everybody know that the DC 37 has more power when it comes to the union power than the UFOA and UFA. And this is the reason why they, Mr. Shekar, you want to do this because you're trying to strengthen the union that has the biggest GOTV, which is DC 37, when it comes to voter outreach, and you're trying to strengthen a nonprofit that does political advocacy when it comes to environments and parks, which is New York City League of Compensation Voters. This bill is not for the sake of empowering Parks Department. This is about empowering unions, which is DC 37 and the New York City League of Conservative Voters. The parks people, they don't know anything about mitigating fires at all. The people that know how to mitigate fires are firefighters. They're trained to do this. They go through a lot of trainings and scenarios to mitigate any brush fire in the city of New York. The Parks Department, all they know how to do is clean stuff up and conserve things. That's all they know how to do. These guys and gals in the Parks Department who don't even have police powers, real police powers, they can't even hold a refrigerator. I'm not trying to offend them, but to say they don't know what they do. They'll be scared to step into the fire. The people that they hire for the Parks Department are even scared to pick up dog poop. They scared to pick up dog poop. What make you think they're going to be able to mitigate a fire? So I'm in here one more second. That I'm opposed to this thing that you put up, Shekar. It's not about this. All about empowering DC 37 and trying to destroy UFOA because UFOA and the UFA can't give you guys any votes. And you guys know it's not strong as DC 37. So this is all about you're trying to empower a union that you guys know that it's going to get you guys elected and reelected, and your boys and gals reelected.
Thanks
and elected
so much, Mr. Johnson. I'm going to finish up here so we can go to the next testimony.
Thank you so much. Enjoy your day.
Thank you. Next up is Jennifer. Do we have a Jennifer? No? Okay. That concludes our public portion of the testimony. Just to close out, I wanted to thank everyone for coming for today's hearing. Clearly a very important issue that we need to do far more on to address, unfortunately, what will very likely be a recurring problem in our city. And so to our firefighters, to our Parks Department workers, we thank you all and look forward to our continued work together to ensure that we can respond effectively to this issue and do all we can to prevent brush fires in parks and to contain them should they occur. I want to pass it over to my chair in case she has any closing words to say as well.
Yes, thank you all for testifying, and I'd also like to thank both of our committee councils, our chiefs of staff, as well as legislative division and our chief analysts who really help put these committee meetings together, and of course our wonderful sergeants at arms. Thanks so much.
And just when we thought we were done, we had another testimony. So our hearing will continue. Those are closing words. Catherine Lafferty.
I'll come around and get them. I'll get them.
Thank you. Good afternoon, council members. Thank you for allowing. Sorry? Good afternoon, council members. Thank you for allowing your constituents and representatives of nonprofits to be here to testify. My name is Catherine Kat Lafferty. I'm a 25.5-year resident of Hell's Kitchen and a 1-year resident of Borum Hill, Brooklyn before that. I am an avid community gardener and environmentalist. I studied international relations as an undergrad. When I was an undergrad, I worked at Greenpeace and helped to get curbside recycling started in Washington, D.C. in 1989, which started with newspaper pickup. And for those of you who are too young, there was a time when cities did not have curbside recycling. So park issues are very important to me. I am a community gardener in one of the original Green Gorilla parks, one of the original Green Gorilla community gardens, which is the Clinton Community Garden on West 48th between 9th and 10th. And I also work with a small but very committed group of tree stewards and community gardeners in Hell's Kitchen Park, and we have programming for our community as well through the West 47th, 48th Block Association. So I am here today to address a couple of issues. One is sidewalk buckling in front of community gardens. Secondly, and which I do not think should be the responsibility of the community gardens to pay for. Secondly, in terms of brush fire mitigation, I just want to say that I am in favor of the legislation that you're proposing. Oh, no. But lastly, I just want to say that that I believe that the mayor's office, the city council, and the governor of New York should come up with a 5-year plan to document New York City's parks assets, both physical and cultural, such as Keith Haring murals, but also the assets under the ground, which can sometimes impact park maintenance, because we need to protect our green spaces and infrastructure that centuries, literally, of New Yorkers have worked to protect and preserve. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lafferty. We appreciate your testimony. Thanks, everyone. That now closes out our hearing. We appreciate you all and look forward to our continued work together. This hearing is now closed.
See you again. Looking forward to retired life?
Yes. Counting the days.
Good for you. Anything planned?
I'll sit on the beach. I'm gonna do some travel.
All right. How old are you now?
73.
Yeah, it's time.
Oh, thank you.
We will miss you, though.
Push me out.
No. Listen, I appreciate all your help with the Medicare Advantage. I know they were trying to squeeze you and Joe for a vote. And it was not proper. That stood in the way, but I just wanted to say thank you.
And there's still votes. We got a bill. We postponed the bill that was sitting there.
I know. But at least she was able to stop what they were trying to do. If we get some bill that's a reason why and protects everybody, and we're happy.
Yeah, just give us a choice. Once we retire, we promise we have a choice.
100%. And to just wipe the choices out.
Yeah, okay, that's not for the choice, because I want better coverage, but they don't, they're not doing it.
No, and even to
they want to put us in a program, they can't either we'll have the same doctors.
Absolutely, right. But again, the momentum was against us, but I'm very glad, because we were down to Zoom, and you were there, and John was there, and you were the only rational voice in the argument at the time. I just want to say thank you.
That's why we're the common sense talk.
Exactly. Well, good luck, I'm sure.
Thanks
Thanks again for everything, we really appreciate it.
Thanks so much.